Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between SlayerS's BekHo versus Google here on Typhon Peaks. Google, I don't know if you like Google or not. I don't know, some people think they're like a giant evil corporate entity. Other people are like, yeah, you know, they make searching for stuff so much easier and better. But I'm pretty sure that this isn't the real Google founders or anyone relating to Google at all, unless the employees at Google perhaps share an account. That would be kind of interesting and funny. Anyway, SlayerS's BekHo spawning on the top left-hand side of Typhon Peaks. Meanwhile, Google spawning on the bottom right-hand side as the blue Protoss. This game is a BattleNet game, I believe, so there shouldn't be any observers. And secondly, it was given to me as a quote-unquote interesting replay. I try to avoid interesting replays from the people who's like, if they play a game and go, oh yeah, this game was so interesting, I try to avoid those games. But if people like try to promote someone else, there's a little bit more legitimacy behind it, and I feel like, you know what, as a caster out there, I want to try to also bring up other players as well and just build the StarCraft 2 community. We now see a barracks being built on the front door, a front door seal here on Typhon Peaks. I'm not sure if Google actually is a random player or if Google is a straight up Protoss player. Normally you don't front door against a Protoss player, as Stalkers are then able to come up the ramp and start poking through. Then Marauders aren't able to get as much damage. You would normally want a bunker here, but then again, you could be a little bit weary of, say, of a 4-gate rush, and if a 4-gate rush does come in, then you are a little bit happy that you have more room to maneuver and work around, as the probe now battling it out against an SCV. That one probe already taking 20 points of damage towards the shields, and now a Marine will be trained, so that probe needs to get the heck out of there, as it knows it cannot stick around for very, very long. A Marine will be popping out. SCV gonna build a supply depot. The refinery is already up, so as soon as this one supply depot is done, we will have enough gas, or approximately. Oh right, is he gonna be able to stutter step? It looks like he may be able to. One more shot, there he goes, getting that probe and forcing that probe to never be able to mine minerals ever more. You do see a lot of probe saturation over here as opposed to here, so this is nicely done by Google, making sure to try to mine off of the close to mineral patches, and now going into an early double gas. So yes, an early double gas placement by Google, and we'll see what's going to be happening with that early double gas placement. Normally, I've been seeing a lot more Stargate play, Phoenixes, and Void Rays, but it may just be to train up a lot of sentries, as sentries are very intensive gas units, and you want to be able to train up sentries early on against Terran and Zerg. Terran is very, very weak to, or especially against Guardian shields, but it does not look like that's the case, just a Stalker being warped in. Back over here, we now have BekHo currently building up a factory, and now also has a barracks being built over here. Yeah, he did reposition the barracks, now getting a reactor, and it looks like he may be going for straight tank. No, he's not going for strength tank. Now going straight into a starport. Normally when I see a reactor and then a factory off of a double gas, I normally think it's going to be a tech lab training up some siege tanks, training up a lot of Marines, and then also going for 1 or 2 medevacs to act as support. A Zealot and a Stalker now coming down over here as an engineering bay being placed down in order to block any Nexus anytime soon. The engineering bay does have a decent amount of hit points. Also, it has a very fast build time, so the amount of hit points that it is able to gain is a lot higher, making it much more difficult to destroy than, say, a barracks or a supply depot. Back over here, we still see more and more probes just wandering around. We are going into a Stargate play and a robotics facility, so this is a strategy that I haven't seen for quite some time. It is going to be a 2-gate with a Stargate and a robotics facility, and what Protoss players normally do is they go for an Immortal and they go for a Void Ray, and with those 2 units plus gateway units of Zealots, it is very difficult to try and stop it. We are also getting a Raven out, as Stalkers are also being added in, and we're going to Phoenix. Okay, so Google completely confusing me. I thought it was going to be Immortals and Void Rays, and he just had to prove me wrong and go for Observers and Phoenixes. How much more wrong could I be, as now BekHo with this engineering bay blocking the positioning here on the low ground expansion. Stalker and Zealot now making its way over. easily going to destroy this engineering bay. But at least BekHo knows that his opponent is trying to go for an expansion. Engineering bay should get cancelled at just the last minute. There you go. Refunding some of the minerals, not all, and now a Nexus is going to be placed down. We now see that BekHo is still running off of one base play, and he doesn't have a medevac, just has that early Raven. That early Raven, obviously good as it is able to mass up more energy, and this is still only Marines and Ravens so far. I don't see any real damaging units out there. BekHo now looking for that Observer. He knows the timing on the game, knows that an Observer is most likely coming in soon, and there it is. And that Observer going to have a very, very bad day. Oh, turning around just in time. So Google being very careful with his Observer, but that Observer may get shot down anyways. We are getting an Immortal and now going into a Battlecruiser rush. Okay, where is that Fusion Core? I completely missed it. This is now an 8-minute Battlecruiser rush here on Typhon Peaks, something you do not normally see. The problem is that Stalkers do deal significant damage towards battlecruisers. Battlecruisers are very effective against Immortals. It has a very fast attack rate that is low in damage, and Phoenixes are not going to be able to get through that very, very thick Terran plating. That I believe the battlecruiser has a natural base 3 armor. So the DPS on a Phoenix, the damage per second, is less than 4 damage per second. After you account for all of that armor. Very, very difficult to deal that damage. And now we see Google going into a 5-gate push. So we may see some probes being transferred over here to the natural expansion and then try to use 5-gate units. Stalkers are definitely going to be an issue though, as a second battlecruiser already being added. So we are going SCVs, mass SCVs, repairing this one battlecruiser. 25 SCVs, half of the army already here. Hellions nearby as well, making sure to stick next to those SCVs, as those Hellions are going to be trying to damage and destroy many of those other, destroy many of those Zealots to try to get nearby. Marine is coming in as well. We are going to have a Raven, point defense drone, going to be very important as well in trying to absorb some of that damage from those Stalkers. And this may be too much. The Immortals counter absolutely nothing, as Zealots now being warped in. So the Marines are now coming in, drop a point defense drone most likely. Stalkers are trying to engage. Hellions now getting some damage. No point defense drone. There it is. There's the point defense drone as the battlecruiser in the air. The Raven trying to get shot down now. A lot of damage being absorbed by the Raven, but the point defense drone is still in the air, and you can see that battlecruiser just being repaired so easily by those SCVs. Marines now going after those Stalkers. That Phoenix only dealing 4 damage per round of attack, and you can see how fast that one battlecruiser is dealing that damage. Mass Marines just completely finishing it up there. A second battlecruiser should be coming in. Yeah, there he goes. The battlecruiser is a much faster moving unit than before, and now all this battlecruiser really needs to do is just simply move in and try to deal some damage. The sentries are not going to be able to deal that much damage either. And now a sentry trying to make its way in will have a very difficult time. Marines are now pushing their way through. And yeah, that's got to be GG. So a battlecruiser rush taking a game here, here on Typhon Peaks. Something that you do not normally see. A little bit more of a fun game today. But yeah, a battlecruiser completely owning Google's army. You can see one of the reasons why it is so powerful is the fact that it attacks so quickly. The damage of 8 is very, very fast, and it also fires about 4 rounds of attack per second. So you're essentially dealing 32 damage, about 32 to 36 damage a second. In order to get the same amount of damage from Marines, I think you need 4 Marines or probably 4 Marines, but the Marines are much more fragile. That battlecruiser with that 3 armor, able to absorb a lot of that damage from those Phoenixes. The Phoenixes only dealing 4 damage an attack. The Stalkers dealing less than 10 damage per second each, and an SCV is more than capable of repairing a battlecruiser. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between SlayerS's BekHo and Google here on Typhon Peaks.